Did Judy Garland's quest for love end in heartbreak, or was there more to her tragic love life than meets the eye? Judy Garland is best remembered as one of Hollywood's most iconic stars, a talented performer who could captivate audiences with just a glance. But behind the glitz and glamour, her personal life was filled with turbulence, especially regarding her relationships. The world saw her rise to fame as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, but few know the deep heartache she endured in her search for true love. In this video, we'll uncover the tragic end of Judy Garland's love life, shedding light on the struggles, heartbreaks, and scandals that marked her personal journey. Prepare to dive into a side of Judy's rarely discussed life, and you won't believe what happened next. A star is born, but at what cost? Judy Garland wasn't always the beloved legend we remember today. Born Frances Ethel Gumm in 1922, she grew up far from the Hollywood fairy tale most imagine. Her childhood was shaped by turmoil. Her parents' troubled marriage cast a shadow over her early years, while the demands of constant performing kept her from ever truly enjoying the innocence of youth. As part of the Gumm sisters' vaudeville act, Judy's life was filled with applause, but little room for understanding love, happiness, or even herself. When MGM discovered her, it seemed like the break every young performer dreamed of, but for Judy, it came with an unimaginable cost. The studio didn't just polish her into a star, they seized control of every detail of her life. Her appearance, her diet, and even her relationships were carefully managed to fit the image they wanted to sell to the world. Executives constantly reminded her she wasn't the typical beauty of the era, fueling insecurities that would haunt her forever. And the manipulation didn't stop there. Judy's personal life became just another aspect of her career. MGM approved or disapproved of her suitors, ensuring each relationship would bolster her public image. It was a world so artificial that Judy began to wonder if she'd ever experience a love that wasn't orchestrated. Behind the dazzling stage lights and glittering movie sets was a young woman longing for something real. But could she ever find happiness when her life was controlled down to the smallest detail? Judy's attempts to reclaim her personal life led to moments of hope, but also devastating heartbreak. And yet, her story doesn't end there. What really happened when Judy tried to break free from the studio's grasp? You won't believe the heartbreak that followed one of her most promising relationships. Up next, we'll dive into the romance that could have saved her but ended in tragedy. David Rose, the sweetheart of young Judy. At just 19, Judy Garland found herself swept off her feet by musician David Rose, whose romantic compositions made him a darling of the music world. Their love was young, passionate, and full of promise. But it quickly drew the disapproving eye of MGM. The studio saw their relationship as a direct threat to Judy's carefully crafted girl next door image. What happened next would set a heartbreaking pattern in Judy's love life, external pressures tearing apart her relationships before they could flourish. In 1941, Judy and David defied the odds and married. But from the beginning, their union was under strain. Judy's skyrocketing career demanded relentless hours, leaving her little time to nurture her marriage. Meanwhile, David was chasing his ambitions and the couple began to drift apart. The breaking point came when Judy became pregnant, a moment that could have brought them closer but instead marked the beginning of the end. MGM executives intervened, pressuring Judy to terminate the pregnancy, arguing it would jeopardize her career. Reluctantly, Judy complied, a decision that left her haunted for the rest of her life. By 1944, their marriage had crumbled under the weight of studio interference and unmet emotional needs. It was Judy's first brush with the devastating heartbreak that would follow her throughout her relationships. Could Judy's love story with David have had a happier ending if the studio hadn't controlled every aspect of her life? Or was her fate always tied to the demands of Hollywood? You won't believe how her next relationship carried echoes of the same tragedy. Vincente Minnelli, the director who promised stability. By 1945, Judy Garland was one of Hollywood's brightest stars, adored by millions yet deeply scarred by personal struggles. Amid the chaos of fame, she found a sense of calm in Vincente Minnelli, the visionary director of Meet Me in St. Louis. Their romance blossomed during the production of the film, where Vincente's creative brilliance and sensitive nature drew Judy in. Unlike the controlling executives at MGM, Vincente seemed to truly see her, not just as a star, but as a person with vulnerabilities and dreams. For Judy, it felt like the promise of stability she had longed for. Their marriage brought moments of happiness, especially with the birth of their daughter, Liza Minnelli, in 1946. Liza would go on to carve her path as an entertainment legend, a testament to the talent inherited from both parents. To the outside world, Judy and Vincente seemed like the perfect Hollywood couple, a talented director and his equally dazzling muse. But behind closed doors, cracks began to show. Their relationship was plagued by incompatibility. Rumors about Vincente's bisexuality cast a shadow over their union, leading to whispers in Hollywood circles and unspoken tension at home. Meanwhile, Judy's dependence on prescription pills, introduced by MGM to keep her thin and energetic for demanding roles, spiraled into a crippling addiction. The very industry that made her a star had also made her a prisoner, and these struggles began to seep into her marriage. As Judy's emotional stability crumbled, Vincente struggled to support her in the ways she needed most. While he remained devoted to his art and their daughter, he couldn't provide the emotional anchor Judy desperately sought. By 1951, their marriage ended in divorce. Though they stayed on good terms for Liza's sake, the separation marked another disillusioning chapter in Judy's search for love. Was Vincente's artistic genius what initially drew Judy in but ultimately kept them apart? Or were their differences too vast to bridge, no matter how much they cared for each other? Judy's love life continued to mirror the highs and lows of her career, and her next relationship would bring both passion and heartbreak in equal measure. You won't believe how her pursuit of love became a battle against herself and the forces around her. Sid Luft, a love fueled by passion and turmoil. When Sid Luft entered Judy Garland's life, she was at one of her lowest points. Her career was faltering, and the star who once lit up the silver screen seemed to be fading. But Sid, with his bold personality and sharp business mind, saw something in Judy that others had overlooked, her untapped potential for a triumphant comeback. He became not only her husband, but also her manager, orchestrating a revival that would define her legacy. Her sold-out concerts at Carnegie Hall and her iconic role in A Star is Born were testaments to Sid's belief in her talent. Married in 1952, their union initially seemed like the stability Judy desperately needed. Together, they had 2 children, Lorna and Joey Luft, and for a while Sid was credited with bringing order to Judy's otherwise chaotic life. He became her champion, pushing her to reclaim her stardom at a time when many had written her off. But their marriage was anything but a fairy tale. Sid's controlling nature clashes with Judy's fiery spirit, leading to explosive arguments. Their fights often turned physical, and the strain of Sid's gambling habits only deepened the fractures in their relationship. Despite their battles, Sid's unwavering belief in Judy's talent stood out. He was one of the few who never doubted her brilliance, even when she did. After 13 years, their marriage ended in a bitter divorce in 1965, marking the conclusion of Judy's longest and most tumultuous relationship. Was Sid Luft the love of her life, or was his devotion more about her career than her heart? And with Sid gone, who would stand by Judy as she faced her final years? Mark Herron, A Marriage Shrouded in Mystery. After the bitter end of her marriage to Sid Luft, Judy Garland's search for love took yet another unpredictable turn when she married actor Mark Herron in 1965. The marriage, however, was anything but ordinary. It quickly became one of the most controversial and mysterious chapters in Judy's personal life. Herron, an actor with limited fame, was not the kind of partner the public expected for Judy. What started as a hopeful new beginning soon spiraled into speculation and scandal. The rumors surrounding their marriage were immediate and intense. Many believed that Herron's sexuality was not what it seemed, with accusations that he was gay. This led to rampant gossip that the union was more of a business arrangement than a genuine love match. The speculation cast a long shadow over their relationship, and Judy, already fragile from previous heartbreaks, found herself once again under a magnifying glass. The brief marriage, which lasted less than a year, became increasingly strained, culminating in accusations of abuse. Herron later claimed that the altercations were the result of him acting in self-defense, but the damage was irreversible. Judy was left more isolated than ever, emotionally shattered and feeling betrayed by yet another partner who had failed to offer the love and stability she so desperately needed. The collapse of this short marriage only deepened the wounds from her past relationships, and Judy's sense of trust seemed to diminish with each failed romance. After years of professional success, why did Judy continue to find herself in relationships that seemed to bring more pain than fulfillment? Was it a pattern of self-sabotage, or did her heart continue to believe in love, even when logic said otherwise? Judy's desperate search for unconditional love became a tragic narrative in her life, leaving many to wonder, was there ever a chance for her to find the happiness she longed for? Or was she destined to remain trapped in a cycle of heartbreak and disappointment? Mickey Dean's The Final Chapter. Judy Garland's search for love seemed endless, and her final marriage to nightclub manager Mickey Dean's came at a time when her life had already been deeply marked by personal and professional turmoil. Judy met Mickey in 1966, and their whirlwind romance quickly escalated to marriage in 1969. At first, Mickey appeared to be the man who would bring stability and peace to Judy's chaotic world. But their union, tragically, would turn out to be one of the most heartbreaking chapters in Judy's life. By the time they wed, Judy was a woman worn down by years of struggle. She was battling severe financial issues, health problems, and a deeply strained relationship with her children. Mickey, though seemingly earnest in his intentions to help Judy rebuild her career, could do little to reverse the damage done by her years of addiction and the harsh realities of Hollywood's demands. Judy's ongoing substance abuse and lack of consistent work only made their efforts more challenging. Despite Mickey's support, Judy could never escape the demons that had haunted her for decades. On June 22, 1969, Mickey found Judy unresponsive in their London apartment. She had tragically passed away from an accidental overdose at the age of 47. Her death marked the end of a life that had been full of potential, heartache, and a desperate longing for love and acceptance. But could Mickey have done more to save her? Or was her fate sealed long before they met? Judy's story, marked by extraordinary talent and heartbreaking vulnerability, left many wondering if there was anyone who could have provided the kind of support and stability she needed. Was there ever a way for Judy to escape the darkness that had followed her throughout her life? Or was her tragic end inevitable, given the pressures and heartbreak she had endured? The role of Hollywood in Judy's heartbreak. Judy Garland's love life cannot be separated from the toxic culture of Hollywood during her time. Studios treated stars like commodities, controlling their appearances, careers, and personal lives. For Judy, this meant a lifetime of being told she wasn't enough, too short, too heavy, too unconventional. These messages eroded her self-esteem, leading her to seek validation in her relationships. Each of Judy's marriages reflected the broader pressures she faced as a star. The men in her life often mirrored the controlling figures in Hollywood, promising stability, delivering heartbreak. In many ways, Judy's romantic struggles were a microcosm of her larger battle against a system that valued profit over humanity. Was Judy a victim of circumstance? Or did her insecurities play an equal role in her turbulent relationships? Judy Garland's love life was filled with passion, pain, and a never-ending quest for acceptance. Despite her immense talent and fame, she was haunted by relationships that never quite gave her the support she so desperately needed. What if things had turned out differently? Could Judy have found the peace and love she longed for? If you found Judy's story as heartbreaking as it is captivating, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the mysteries and untold tales of old Hollywood. Don't miss out on the next chapter of Hollywood's forgotten stars. There's always more to uncover.